Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marta and today I'm going to do something I'm really excited about because I just got, like, I think if I counted right, 26 Tammy Tanuka pigments, and I would just love to press them so I can have them in tin pans so that I can get more use out of them and put them in my custom palettes and stuff like that. So I do have all of my pigments here ready, but I'm not going to take the chance on pressing these first, just because I've never pressed anything before. So I will just use a cheap pigment that I have here from a Norwegian brand called Makeup Mecca, and I will just try that one first and see how it goes. Now I'm just going to use like a recipe that I have here from brokeandbeautiful.com and see how that works first. And the things that I have to press, I have isopropyl myristate, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this is sort of binder, and I did get this from, I think it was eBay, so I will just link all of the stuff down in my description box of the things that I know that I bought online. Because for future Marta is coming in here, just to give you a little bit more information on this binder. It is said that it is a polar emollient and is used in cosmetic and topical medicinal preparations where good absorption into the skin is desired. That is the reason why I thought this one would be good. Just because I really want my pigments to stay on the skin, and yeah, I guess if the skin absorbs it easily, then it sticks better to the skin. And it does also say, all this information I just have from Google, and it said that it is being studied as a skin enhancer, so I do believe that this might be a good binder, but there are a lot of different ones out there, and I can leave a link to a whole pressing kit that I saw from a website. I don't really remember the name, but the only reason I didn't buy that whole kit was because the shipping was like $50. So I just decided to go ahead and get my own equipment. And yeah, I'll just leave the link down for you guys. If you're from the United States, then it's very easy for you to get a hold of, I would guess. Online. Because for example, this alcohol that I have, I bought at a store in Portugal last summer when I was there. So I don't know where to get exactly this one, but any type of alcohol as high as possible is great. So this is 96%. I only have some scotch tape afterwards just to be able to mark the shadows, because I have all of these pigments I have labeled because the names are in Russian, so I just wanted to have the English names on them, and I do want to still know what kind of shadows are which, so I will just have some tape and I have some paper here on the side that I will just write on and just cut out and glue or tape onto the underside of the pants. I also have a alcoholic cleanser. This is something I use for my nails every time I do my nails. So this one is also with alcohol. I'm not quite sure how it is, but I did get this one from ended.com. I got like this huge bottle, and I just put it in this sprayer from H&M. And then I also have bought a tamper tool, and I got this from Wish. I will also leave a link for that. It's a little bit smaller than what the pan is, but it said 26 millimeters, so I guess that is just perfect. It will leave a little bit space on the side, but I think that's how it's gonna be anyway. So I just bought this one so it will be easier to press, and I'm not sure how hard to press, so we will just have to see. Then I have some measuring tools right here, and I did just sterilize this one. I should have probably sterilized these two because I've used them for some spices to make my coffee, but at least this one is sterilized, and I will have to sterilize the others too. I did sterilize this one, so that's ready, and I sterilized my spatula that I got from Beauty Bay, so I have that. And the pen is of course just for writing the names. Also, of course, the pans, I just got them from Wish. I have them in this size, which is, I think this is a normal size. All of them are 26 millimeters, but I also have ones that are deeper, just because I also have some glitters in big pans that I want to put over in tins like this, and then I wanted it to be a little bit bigger so I can fit all of the glitter in them. So I think we will just go ahead. So what I will do, I guess, is to just start taking some of the pigment, and it says here add loose shadow to a mixing dish, and so I will be taking my 1/4 of a teaspoon here and I will just take some of this, and then it says to have 1 drop per 1/4 of teaspoon of shadow and mix it all around. So I will just use my pan to mix it around, and as I said, I already cleansed this one, and so I will just fill this one up with pigment. Okay, so this looks like it's about 1/4 of a teaspoon, and so I'm just taking that into the pan. And then it says to add the pressing medium, which will be my isopropyl myrstake. So I will add 1 drop, it says. And the fact that I'm doing this straight on the table is because it's already messed up, because I did my nails and I spilled a lot of glue everywhere, so I don't really bother about that. So now it's going to be a little bit hard to get just 1 drop, but I will just try my best. Okay, so I got 1 drop in there. And then it says to add some rubbing alcohol to temporarily moisten the mixture. So then I'll just open this one. I can't open it with my nails, so I'm just using this spatula. And here it doesn't really say how much to use, so I'm just going to make like a paste, like I always do when I'm repressing my shimmer shadows. I don't know what it will do if you put in too much or too little. And then I have to try to mix it just in order to get the binder everywhere, because I just put 1 drop in there. I think I need a little bit more of rubbing alcohol. So since this is not looking like a lot, I'm just going to add the same amount, I think, if I have enough pigment. This is probably going to be a bit messy. As you can see, I already spilled quite a bit, but this seems to be a nice amount. So honestly, I think this is good, because now I just have to wait for it to dry so that the alcohol will evaporate, and then I can put a paper tissue on top of it and then press with my tamper here. So I guess I will just go ahead and do the same, because I have 2 different pigments from that exact brand, and I will just, I think with the gold I will try to put 2 drops of binder just to see if that's better or not. Yeah, and why not just use 3 drops of binder on the silver one, just to see. So I will just leave this. I will go to my spinning class and I will be back to see if it has dried down a little bit. Okay, so I am back from my spinning class, and the shadows have had some time to dry now, so I will just, especially for this golden one, I will just press some paper on it to see how much alcohol is left. It does feel quite dry, so I think I will just go ahead and try to press it. And I don't really know how hard I should press. And this is how it is looking. So it looks really pretty, actually. Let's try to do a swatch. Wow, it actually worked. It seems very pigmented as well, so that's a very good sign. I don't know if I should use more or less binder, because this one was the one in between. I had just 1 drop of binder per 1/4 of a teaspoon, and then I had 2 drops and 3 drops. And I think it came a little bit more in this silver one, just because it wasn't that easy to control. But all in all, I think this is quite nice. Okay, so I am just going to go ahead and try to press this shade, and this is the shade Mother of the Careless Dragon, and I'm quite sure I bought 2 of this by mistake because it was in Russian, but that makes it a little bit safer to try with this one first of the Tammy Tanuka pigments. So I will just go ahead and see if I can get 1 scoop of it. Okay, so this is almost a scoop, so I will just put that in here. I think if I use all of this, it will be approximately 2 scoops, maybe a little less. So I'm just going to try all of it, and I'm just going to try to mix it in the pan right now. And I mean, I could have just done it in the jar, since I decided to just use the whole pigment. 2 drops. And that was for the first scoop. Then since I had 2 scoops, I'm going to put in 2 more. And now I'm just going to put in some alcohol, and then I will try to mix it. Okay, so it's quite a nice paste right now. Now this shadow has had some time to dry a little bit, so I will just go ahead and see how dry it is. There's a little bit of alcohol coming through, but not that much. And as you can see, it's not that much pigment either. So I think I will go ahead and actually just press it. And I'm not really pressing that hard because honestly I just want to have them stored like this, and I'm going to use a glitter glue anyway, so my main point is to have them placed in the pans so that they're easier for me to use and store, and then I can also just put them in my palettes. Look at how gorgeous this is. And this is how it's looking when you touch it. As you can see, the particles are quite big, but I think this is fine for just, oh my god, look at that. Oh my god. Oh, I cannot wait to do the rest of my pigments now. Okay, this is perfect, so I will just continue doing this. And I'm quite sure that this was 1 gram of product because I almost only bought sample sizes. So I will just go ahead and do the exact same with all of my pigments, and I will speed it up. And I'm not sure if I'm going to show all of the pigments, but at least I will do as I just did. And this one is cleansed, this one is cleansed using my nail disinfection. And then I'm just going to add, I think I will just stay with 1 drop of binder per 1/4 of a spoon, just because if it's too much binder I'm afraid that the pigments might crease on my lid when I'm using them. So I'm just going to use 1 drop, and if that's a problem then I can just repress them again, because it's fine to do it again, but if I add too much right now then it's not going to be able, I'm not going to be able to take the binder out again. So I'll rather just stay on the safe side and use less. So I'm just going to start with my next one. This one doesn't have too much product. I think this one is one with just 0.5 grams in it, so I will just mix it inside of this little jar right here. And I just added 2 drops of binder because it's not as much product. Wanted to try to show you the shifts in this color. It's called Extraordinary Person, and it has like a yellow base with light purple sparkles to it. It's so beautiful. And I have been using quite a bit of alcohol now, but I find it easier to make sure that the binder is actually mixed into the whole shadow to like make sure it's distributed. Oh, this is so beautiful. I just wanted to show that when the consistency is like this, when you can like see the flakes, then you need a little bit more alcohol to be able to actually mix the product well enough. Now as you can see, it's way more of a paste, and then it's the perfect consistency. And this is also not too wet, which I've had with several of the other pigments. And I just go ahead and mix and mix and mix just to be on the safe side that I have the binder all over the product and not just in clusters. a day after pressing these, and they all still look really nice. As you can see from the swatches, the more flaky ones with bigger mica particles like She Who Moves Dunes and Darling, they do look a little bit flaky also when swatching. So if I do have problems using them on the eye, I will probably try to repress them, just using one more drop of binder and just doing it the exact same way that I just did. But the other pigments here that had smaller mica particles, they pressed so beautifully. They almost look like they are shimmer shadows, and I'm really happy just in general with how all of these turned out. And I'm just super excited to be able to have these in a pan form, or what would you call it? Just because then I will be able to use them also in my custom palettes, and I just think I will get a lot more use out of them in this format. I would just like to add that even though I'm not showing you that much of the mixing and how I'm patting it down and everything, I did use a lot of time mixing these different pigments with the binder and the alcohol. It's just I couldn't add it to the video because I literally sat for maybe like 5 minutes mixing each of the pigments just to make sure that the binder was completely distributed in the product, because if not you would have like clusters of binder inside the pigments, and of course you want the binder to be in all of the pigment. So I did use a lot of time mixing it, and I did also use a lot of time just scraping out the product to be able to get as much of the product as I could and not have that much spilled away. So that's why I only ended up showing you a little bit, like a couple of the pigments and just a little bit of the mixing. And I did also make sure to distribute the product all over the pan, even though there was quite a little product in some of them, because I had some which were smaller sample sizes. So I would recommend you to get a little bit more product than the absolute smallest sample sizes that they have. But it really just depends on the formulas, because as you can see, this one with a lot finer mica particles, it's almost completely full, whereas you have the other ones that are almost half full, and then you have some that are just barely covering the bottom. But yeah, just try to get more product if you can, but it still works. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. And I did end up using just 2 drops of binder in each pigment. In the smallest ones I think I used 1 drop, but I also figured that using a little bit extra alcohol was better just to have the binder mix out in the whole product than just to add so that it was a paste, because then it was a little bit harder to mix it. So to be on the safe side, I just added a little bit more alcohol if I was not sure if the binder was completely distributed through the product. So I really hope that you also liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and yeah, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I will be, just after filming this, making a video swatching all of these, where I will also add all of the different names. So please keep an eye out for that if you're interested in seeing these swatched out, and yeah, to see all of the beautiful shifts in these shadows. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!